Hi, this presentation talks about the final written exam, which accounts for 50% of your final grade in this course. After watching this presentation, I expect that you will be able to explain how you get your grade at the end, how the exam questions are created and marked, and also how the exam will be delivered and what you can do if you disagree with your grade. To start with, recall that the coursework assignment accounts for half of your final grade, and the other half comes from the final written exam, which will be delivered in WiseFlow. The course syllabus states that no aids are allowed, based on the assumption that it would take place in the classroom. If it is a digital home exam, as we now expect, all personal aids will be allowed. Presence in at least 80% of the intensive week sessions is required to be allowed into the exam. Also, please make sure that you are familiar with the assessment regulations at USN, which you can read using the short link shown in this slide. I am planning to use the grading scheme shown in this slide. If for any reason it becomes necessary to change anything, you will be informed before the exam. The approval threshold is 40%, and the difference from one passing grade to another is defined in 12% intervals. Each question is marked using also a 6-level scale, as shown here, and all questions will have the same weight. You can pause the video for a moment here and make sure that you become familiar with these rules. The exam questions are critical to defining success, so I always try to follow a careful plan when creating them. The main guiding principles are shown in this slide. Reasoning is more important than memorizing, and there will be questions comprising analysis and synthesis tasks. There will be simpler questions enabling those students that are only able to meet the minimum requirements to pass, then medium complexity questions for the average student, and finally, one or two more complex questions for students aiming for an A. I think that 10 to 12 questions is a good number. And finally, I will use the Canvas discussions as inspiration to the exam questions, as a reward to the effort of posting your responses in Canvas. There will also be questions related to the coursework assignment, so that part of your work will also serve as preparation for the final exam. How do I mark the exams? Well, questions are marked one at a time to avoid different treatment of similar responses. And I always insert short comments in WiseFlow to justify the score given to each answer. Finally, I always go over those exams that are within the 1-point neighborhood of the threshold values, because even a small criteria variance could make a difference in such cases. Finally, what can you do if your grade is below what you expected? According to the regulations that were referred to earlier, you can ask for an explanation of your grade. And if disagreement persists, you can appeal about your grade, in which case 2 other examiners will remark your exam. And in that case, their grade is final. And that's all. Thanks for your attention.